Hello and welcome to Focus on Liberia. I'm Ansony, Sieh, hosting the Hour of Politics. Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Do me that favor, as always. If you are watching us on Facebook, welcome. Share the show with your contact. Share it in any chat room you are a member. Let somebody join this conversation. If you are on YouTube watching us, do the same. Share it with somebody in your messenger chat room or WhatsApp, whatever. Do that and let us have this conversation. As always, we have a topic. The topic for today: the threat to beat Honorable Yeke Kolubah. Yeah, Yeke Kolubah has been threatened to be beaten. And then the question is, by whom? Who are the ones issuing this threat, or this threat, if you like, to beat Yeke Kolubah? Honorable Yeke Kolubah, we all are aware, or many of us, I should say, are aware, is a lawmaker in the House of Representatives. He represents District number 10 in Monserrate County. We also know, yes, Yeke is a critic, a harsh critic of President George Weah. And his kind of criticism of President Weah, he does say in a way somebody will call unorthodox, out of the ordinary, somehow extreme. But that is Yeke. That is the lawmaker. He is, someone would say, a controversial lawmaker. He goes all out. Most of the time, Yeke, during section, is speaking his mind. Sometimes, he's emotionally charged when he does that, based on the videos that we've seen here and there. But on Thursday of this week, Honorable Yeke Kolubah again has something to say in section. Why? How it all started in section on Thursday, for which this threat issued by Honorable Akaros Grade and Honorable Frank Safoko Jr. Mr. Safoko Jr. is the representative of District number 9 in Monserrate County. We have invited him. He has consented. He should be here now. I'm hoping that he will join the discussion. This is supposed to be an interview with him on the threat issued by him and Honorable Akaros Gray, that if Yeke should attempt to insult the president of Liberia, President George Weah, again in section, and in fact, they said next Tuesday, which is the section day, should Yeke attempt to insult President Weah, they will beat him in section. These are two lawmakers threatening to take matters into their own hands, to meet violence against their colleague in section. So I was hoping Safoko would be here. I've had the opportunity to interview him 3 times. He agreed that he was going to be here. I don't know what happened, but he's not here now. Let's hope he joins. But why we wait? We can have the conversation. And I think you listeners are competent enough to participate. And I think I have a little bit of ability, right? To talk about the issue, as I always try to do here. So let us get started right away. And again, the threat to beat Honorable Yeke Kolubah. According to the House of Representatives, there is rules in place by that august body that govern their activities. They have rules, and these rules are there to guide them as they carry on their legislative duties. The rules are also there to guide the behavior of the lawmakers. The view are also there to the rules spell out the processes, how lawmakers should conduct themselves. One of those rules is rule number 22.11. Rule 22.11 is the one that brought all this noise for which Yeke has been threatened to be beaten. So let us look at what is this rule 22.11. Rule 22.11. Every member attending section shall be properly attired, a business suit, slick and jacket, higher height, French suit, and African attire. Now, you may want to know whether this particular dress code that's been laid out in section 22.11, whether it also applied to female lawmakers. Let us talk about what the rules also say about female lawmakers. For female lawmakers, they said that if they are wearing like trousers, they should wear a dress that will cover from their upper level, from their shoulder level, all the way to their knees. If a female lawmaker, were wearing a trouser, that lawmaker, a female lawmaker should wear a blouse, should wear, a shirt, if I can put it that way, that will cover them from their shoulder all the way to their knees. That is the specific that being provided for female lawmakers. So now that is the rule. So they were in section, and one of the lawmakers alerted the plenary that Yeke Kolubah was in violation of Rule 22.11, meaning Yeke Kolubah was not properly dressed. And this is not the first time Yeke Kolubah has been called out for not being properly dressed according to their rule. I have unique knowledge of a video that I watched where Yeke was asked to leave, and he was even taken to a place where he needed to dress properly before he could come into section. I think the tail of his shirt, he did not have it in. So he was taken out, he did that, and then he was allowed to be brought back into section. But on Thursday, Yeke Kolubah was called out again by one of the lawmakers to say, hey, Yeke is not dressed properly. Yeke had on a t-shirt with a coat on it. I'm not sure if some of you can see this clearly. You see that there's a coat there, but he had a t-shirt under the coat. Now, that Yeke was not the only one who was dressed with a t-shirt with a coat on it. According to Representative Dixon Sieh of District number 16, that is the Nickertown area. Dixon Sieh represents my Nickertown. Dixon Sieh, like Yeke Kolubah, was in a t-shirt with a coat on it. And according to Dixon Sieh, that is what they call the French suit, as laid out in Rule 22.11. If you look at the specific of the rule there, you must have a business suit, a slick and a jacket, higher highs, talking about Todman, right? And the French suit. So according to Dixon Sibo, who is a representative, he said French suit, according to their rules, is when you have a t-shirt and you put a coat on it. And according to him, when you are dressed that way, it meets Rule 22.11. And Dixon Sibo told them, in fact, I am also wearing this very French suit. But that's part Dixon Sibo bringing to the attention of plenary that, hey, I also have a French suit on. They didn't know him. They acted that like they didn't hear him. The focus was on Yeke Kolubah. So the speaker wanted to establish whether or not Yeke Kolubah was in violation of Rule 22.11. So he called on the chairman on rules. The chairman on rules was not in section at the time. And so the speaker asked that the chairman on the rules should be called. The chairman on the rules was looked for. They went to look for him. They saw him and they brought him in section. And they gave him the opportunity to look at Yeke's dress code to determine whether Yeke was in violation of 22.11. According to the chairman of the rules, he said Yeke Kolubah, based on his observation, was in violation of Rule 22.11. So he reported to the speaker that, Mr. Speaker, based on my observation, Mr. Yeke Kolubah is in violation of Section 2.11. Now, if you are following, pay close attention. I will remind you that Yeke was not the only one wearing a t-shirt with a coat on it. Another representative, Dixon Sibo, was also in that dress code. Dixon Sibo brought that to their attention. But still, they were all focusing on Yeke Kolubah. The question is why? And that why may get answered later on during this broadcast. So, when the chairman on rules made the determination that Yeke was in violation, the speaker then made a decision by calling on the sergeant at arms to escort Yeke outside of section, because according to the speaker and now the chairman on the rules, Yeke was in violation of Rule 22.11. So let us ask, what is actually the violation here? Let us know how the decision when one is in violation is made. It said that when a determination is made by the chairman based on his observation that a member is in violation of the rules or the Rule 22.11, when the chairman makes that determination, that is the only option in coming up with a penalty against the violator. Do they pull it to a vote? So what I'm saying is, now that the chairman of the rules was able to identify or make a determination that Yeke was in violation, that was it. Do they now pull it to a vote that, okay, the chairman has made a determination or an observation that this member is in violation? Let us pull it to a vote whether or not a penalty be taken against this particular lawmaker. Is that how it is done? I do not know the answer. That is the question I wanted to ask Frank Safoko Jr., Honorable Frank Safoko Jr., but unfortunately he's not here. Now that's one piece. The other piece is, so let's say the speaker too. Could the speaker have put in this to a vote that the chairman on rules have made a determination that Yeke Kolubah is in violation? And because he's in violation, let us vote to determine what should be done. Did the speaker do that? No, the speaker did not do that. Instead, the speaker made a determination or a decision based on the observation of the chairman on rules that Yeke was in violation. So that was during that time the whole noise came about. And it is important that I bring back to your memory that Representative Dixon Siebel, who is a member of CDC, the speaker is a member of CDC, Akara Gray is a member of CDC, Representative Frank Safoko Jr. is a member of CDC. These leaders, despite their colleague, Siebel, who is a member of CDC, was dressed similarly like Yeke Kolubah and informed the Bali that I am also in similar dress code. This is a French suit. This is not a violation. It is in Rule 22.11 that you can wear a French suit. Yet we know Siebel and will go on to ask Yeke out. And that is how the noise came about. And it was during that noise that these two lawmakers, Akaros Gray and Honorable Safoko, said, if Yeke would dare insult President Weah again, they would beat him in section if he should attempt. And it is a fact that Yeke Kolubah has been in the constant habit of insulting President Weah. He has done that so many times. And that is what they said. So let us hear the threat as was issued by these two lawmakers. Let us hear the threat from them that they had issued. Watch, folks.
The last day, I mean, somebody was beating. And the last battle in session here. Nobody was Yeke in such a person there until they were beating. They will do it. They were beating more in such a session. Beating. So, do you know what you're saying?
So, folks, you heard quite clearly Representative Yeke, Representative Akaros Moses Gray there, that should Yeke insult President Weah again, he will be flogged, he will be beaten. But how did that come? How did the aspect of President Weah, insulting President Weah, come about? According to what we know, Frank Safoko Jr. Once said that Yeke is a former rebel who killed people. And so Yeke Kolubah, he is always, during his defense, against any form of attacks from CDC surrogates, what he will resort to has always been to insult President Weah. And he will say that, I know when I insult President Weah, this is what actually get to them. That has been, some of his explanation for which he has been in this constant habit of insulting President Weah. He feels that he's always been picked on. He feels that he's always being attacked by seditions or CDC lawmakers, CDC surrogates, officials in government appointed by President Weah because they know him to be a critic, a harsh critic for that matter of President Weah, who accuses President Weah of everything, including corruption. Yeke Kolubah has also been this lawmaker who said he's giving President Weah trophies for football and not the work of being a president. So he has been on the nerves of CDC lawmakers, CDC government officials, CDC leaders, and and party towers and surrogates, apologists, and also propagandists of the CDC. Yeke has been like a thorn in their flesh, and so they too have been on Yeke Kolubah's back. So anytime there is this rift, any kind of time there is an attack, there's a jab from any member of CDC, BA in government, or Yeke Kolubah will go straight at the president to rain insults at him because he believed that that's the best defense and the best attack line that he can deliver to the sides he opposes. This is how it all started. So you heard Honorable Akara Gray there saying, look, don't take this for fun. If this man insults President Weah again in this chamber, we will beat him in this chamber. And Frank Safoko Jr. also says similar thing that should Representative Yeke Kolubah attempt to insult President Weah again, he will be beaten in section. So let us come to the meat of the discussion here, folks. What is the acceptable behavior of a lawmaker? One would think that is in their rules, which have something to do with dress code. And this is one of the reasons why we are having the discussion today that brought all this confusion. Lawmakers in section arguing angrily, violently among themselves when they should be doing the business of the Liberian people. Lawmakers are taking matters into their own hands. They have threatened to take matters into their own hands. If Yeke is doing something that you disagree with, that is against whatever you know is against, you who make the law and expect people to abide by the law, why will you not be an example in complying to that law, obeying that law, respecting that law, following the law, instead of opening in the lawmaking house because of disagreement, because you are upset about another member's behavior? You think it is a clean slate. It is etiquette. It is reason enough for you, the lawmaker, to openly and boldly and shamelessly announce to people you represent, announce to your countrymen and women, announce to the world that should a terrible behavior from another lawmaker, you will take matters into your own hands. This speaks to the character of these lawmakers. The lawmakers now, are the ones that are they doing this because of President Weah? Or are they doing this because a rule has been violated? If a rule is being violated, doesn't the very rule spell out what is to be done? Why can't you follow what is laid down in the rules as a remedy to any violation? Why can't you follow that? How is that difficult? Are they doing this for President Weah? Is that their responsibility to protect the president? I mean, the lawmakers' responsibility to protect the president? Or is it because they are seditionists or members of the CDC and a president who is a sedition is being insulted? So instead of taking the issue to the law or using the very rules to find a remedy, where accountability is needed, for that accountability to be brought to the potential violator or the violator by the use of the rules. And that became so difficult. And their justification is that because Yeke has always been in the constant habit of insulting President Weah, so it makes it right. So it justifies that they can take matters into their own hands and that they will be in the right to do so, to beat another lawmaker. And how beating Yeke Kolubah solves any problem? How? So it is obvious these lawmakers, looking at their own rules, the rules, I'm very sure, did not say if a member violates, and if that member is not in compliance, you should beat that member. No, it is not in their rules. That is something I have not read, but I know they will not be insane enough to say we will beat a lawmaker should they be in violation of the rules. No, that is not there, and they know it. If that were the case, that what they would have done from the very get-go. But instead, they called the chairman of the rules to make a determination whether there was a violation. And then there was a decision from the speaker for the Yeke Kolubah to be escorted outside. That gave us some semblance that if you don't dress properly, you ought to be asked outside. So to come to this idea of beating him, it was unbelievable. Now, why was Yeke being the only one being singled out here? Dixon Sibo, a CDC lawmaker, was also in that very French suit. They were aware. He himself said it. But the very august body did not make any determination to ask Dixon Sibo outside. He was allowed to stay in section, even though he and Yeke were dressed the same way. So if Yeke was in violation, it means also, since Dixon Sibo, as his own admittance, was in a violation, supposedly. So why they could not hold him accountable? Why was he not be asked by the speaker to leave? Why didn't the speaker call the sergeant at arms on Dixon Sibo as well? It said because he's the member of CDC. And was Yeke actually in violation here? It's another important question we need to ask. Was Yeke actually in violation? Because if you look at their rule here, Section 22.11, every member attending section shall be properly attired, a business suit, slate, and a jacket, higher hats. French suit is the key one. And according to Dixon Sibo, he and Yeke Kolubah were wearing French suit, a t-shirt with a jacket. So if what Dixon Sibo said is actually true, that the interpretation of French suit is a t-shirt with a jacket, then Yeke Kolubah is actually not in violation at all. So establishing, if it is established that Yeke is not in violation, and we can presuppose that too, because maybe Dixon Sibo was not in violation. That is why they didn't ask him out. That is why they didn't call the chairman of the rules on him. So if Dixon and Yeke were similarly dressed and Dixon was not in violation, then we can also say Yeke Kolubah was not in violation. So if that establishment is made that Yeke was not in violation, and the chairman on rules made a determination and observation that he was in violation, and then the speaker further made a decision that Yeke be escorted out by the sergeant at arms and he was being seen taken out of section with those variables holding true and true and true on it. Yeke Kolubah rights, his right was violated. Then the August body run Yeke Kolubah because their rules seems to be very clear that when one wears a French suit or a French dress code, that person is in compliance of Rule 22.11. If Dixon Sibo is right that a t-shirt with a coat on it is French suit, then the August body run Yeke Kolubah. Why is all this about? So that come to what other members had to say about this. Representative Wamba accused Representative Kwakolo, I hope I got it right, and the speaker of being unfair for only singling out Representative Kolubah and leaving Representative Sibo, who was also dressed in similar way. So this is one of the representatives. The other representative, whose name is Representative Kwakolo, is the chairman. So this Representative Wamba is saying the speaker to single out Yeke when Yeke and Sibo were dressed similarly was unfair to Yeke. So that is another representative in that same section bringing to the August bally's attention that what you are doing here is not fair to Yeke. Two lawmakers are dressed in the same way. If a determination is made that that is not in keeping with the rules, the two lawmakers should be asked to leave. Instead, to the full knowledge of plenary, to the full knowledge of the August ballot, to the full knowledge of the speaker makes a decision that affects only Yeke when Yeke and Sibo were dressed similarly. That representative, their colleague, brought that to their attention, but they didn't care. Now, Representative Zambia questioned the decision of Speaker Chambers to expel lawmaker from section unilaterally based on Representative Kwakolo's opinion. Representative Kwakolos is the chairman on the rule. So another representative named Representative Zambia was questioning the speaker's decision for expelling or kicking out Yeke Kolubah from section based on the observation of the chairman, and he considers it a unilateral decision made by the speaker. That presupposes that he would have loved that such a decision, since this body is a parliamentary body that makes decision based on majority, he is making the argument that the speaker decision to expel Yeke Kolubah was unilateral. The speaker cannot decide for the August body. The speaker alone cannot make decision of the August ballot. That the August ballot makes a decision irrespective of the rules through a voting process. That is the argument I am surmising this Representative Zianwe was making. So again, why was Yeke Kolubah being treated this way when Yeke Kolubah was not the only one who was dressed in similar manner? How does the August ballot make decision? Through a voting process? Or is it just the speaker that decides? A chairman comes and makes an observation, reports to the speaker, and the speaker decides? Is that how a parliamentary body operates? Representative Zianwe is saying no, that is not the case. So that, he said, was a unilateral decision by the speaker. Now, he said the decision should have been taken by plenary as the highest decision-making body based on a recommendation from a committee and not an individual. That representative continued that, look, even when a determination and observation is being made, this ballot decision-making is based on parliamentary procedure, or is based on a democratic decision. The decision of the what? The majority. He is saying the plenary, which is the highest making body, can only make a decision based on a recommendation from a committee and not an individual. Because it was just the chairman on the rules who, based on his observation, said Yeke was not in compliance with 22.11. This representative is arguing that no, not one person. It has to be a committee on the rules, investigating and making a recommendation. Even with that recommendation, that is not enough for the speaker to make a decision. That when a decision is made, and it should be made by a committee, that committee decision is taken to plenary, and plenary makes a decision by voting. And when that is done, that is when it becomes legal. That is when it becomes procedural for the speaker to make that determination. But in that determination, it's not him, the speaker, just making that decision. So if any violations were done, there would be number one, Yeke's Kolubah rights was being violated by a one-man committee, which, according to this representative, should not have been done. It should have been a committee to have done the observation and investigation, to make a recommendation. That recommendation goes to plenary, which is the highest making body. Plenary puts it to a vote. They get majority vote, and then the speaker can be given the go-ahead to implement or to effect or execute that decision made by the plenary, which is the highest making decision. In this case, that was not done. One man show unilateral decision. It was not made parliamentarily. It was not made by the higher decision-making body. Yeke, like in the words of the other representative, was being treated unfairly. So, folks, Yeke was clearly not being treated fairly. He was being treated unfairly. He was not the only one dressed in a way. The decision to expel him was made because a single member felt that Yeke was in the wrong to have dressed that way. The decision was being made because the speaker too made a decision that that representative was right, was not a committee, and they escorted the man out and called the sergeant at arms on him. This is not right. Is this the first time Yeke is in this thing with lawmakers predominantly from the CDC? Let me bring you something. Some time ago, Yeke Kolubah was suspended. Some of you might have heard it. He was suspended, I believe, about 2 months or so. And I believe his salary or his pay and all his allowances were also withheld during that time period. Hey, Victor, I'm not sure. I'll call you. So let us bring what happened the last time. The CDC lawmakers are good at making threats against Yeke Kolubah. Are they succeeding with these threats? Or is Yeke just winning them like a one-man army? We will answer that question with an analysis, but let us bring you what happened some time ago. Representative Thomas Fowler made a threat against Yeke Kolubah. In that threat, he said, Yeke Kolubah, if he were to fail to retract an insult that he had meted against President Weah and an allegation that he had made against President Weah. And if Yekeh Kolubah failed to retract that allegation, that insult, he, Thomas Fowler, who have ensured that Yekeh become what was the word he used? He said Yekeh Kolubah will have become a former representative. Is Yekeh Kolubah a former representative based on the promise, the vow, that the threat issued by Thomas Fowler? I know Yekeh is still representative. I know we are talking about him in section the other day. So let's hear from that threat that was issued by Thomas Fowler and whether or not Thomas Fowler accomplished all of the things that he promised. Because besides making Yekeh Kolubah a former representative, he said that Yekeh Kolubah will have been suspended. And we're talking suspension too, right? So let's listen to it, and I will be right back to do the analysis.
On the record, that Honorable Yekeh Kolubah will have to retract if he did, because the legal system is there, the rule of law is there. He will be invited, but under our rules, we will make sure that Yekeh Kolubah comply, because the legislature has its own rules and there are penalties. And I know Yekeh is aware that the individual that is making this comment is of no joke. When we take issue, we take it and make it serious. Yekeh will be called and he will be subjected to probe, and an attempt not to submit himself will be left with no alternative. Probably if he's lucky, let me use the word lucky carefully, there will be suspension for Yekeh Kolubah this time around. If it's not, and if he doesn't regret or retract the statement or comments made, Yekeh will be called former representative in the next couple of days or month to be. You can take this. It's not a threat. In compliance with our rules.
Why rules?
The rules, Rule 43.
Which rule gives you the authority to make
Rule 43, we can suspend, we can expel. If I or my father do misbehave, and in the belief of my colleagues, they believe that my attitude brought the body to public disrepute, and I can raise this requisite number to suspend, we can suspend. Even our speaker can be removed for a cause. The rules there is clear, so he is aware. So if we continue in this path, because I know when he gets this recalling, he's going to respond. And if he do respond without giving regret, Yekeh will be called former representative, and you can take this to the bank.
Okay. So, you heard that Yekeh will be called former representative, and you can take it to the bank. What is with my friends in the CDC with their bank thing? Akaros Gray is the one who has made this ticket to my bank, ticket to the bank. So Akara Gray is asking us to take it to the bank that Yekeh Kolubah will be beaten. Let's watch. Now, that was Honorable Thomas Fowler, a former senatorial candidate for Monserrato County, who got humiliated by a Darius DeLon there. He got flogged, but that is not what we are here for. So some time ago now, Representative Thomas Fowler issued those threats, those warnings to Yekeh Kolubah. Yekeh had accused President Weah of being corrupt and also has insulted President Weah. And it was like a wildfire. Thomas Fowler heard about it. And as you heard him that he heard about it, he did not listen to what Yekeh said at that time. So he was speaking. So look, if what I'm hearing is true, if the facts are laid there before me, that Yekeh accused the president and Yekeh insulted President Weah, the man who's speaking, Yekeh knows this man, unquote. I'm not for fun. I will ensure that Yekeh Kolubah, if he's lucky, unquote, will be suspended. But if not, Yekeh will be made a will be made a former representative. So two threats. He issued that the man will be suspended. Did Yekeh get that suspension? Yes. He wrote a communication to the plenary. Yekeh was subjected to an investigation. Yekeh, according to the investigation, was found guilty. Yekeh was suspended for 2 months without pay. This is the suspension that Yekeh has just returned from, and now he has returned to work. And similar reason for which he got suspended in the first place is what we're talking about today, and the other lawmaker threatening to beat him. So Thomas Fowler got the suspension that he had threatened, many of his words, right? What he also said was Yeke will be made former representative, take it to the bank. Let's look at it. Was he conditional? Was he conditional that if he's lucky, he will be suspended? If he's not lucky, then he will be called former representative. Yes, yes, and yes. He said if he's lucky, he will be suspended. That's what he said. But if he's not lucky, he will be called former representative and take it to the bank. Thomas' father, to his credit, did what he could do to get Yeke suspended, and Yeke was suspended. If you understand him quite clearly, he did not say Yeke will be suspended and will be made former representative. He said if he's lucky, and if it is established that he said those things, and it was established that Yeke accused the president and insulted the president. So Yeke was lucky. So Thomas' father accomplished that which he had threatened, that Yeke, based on law, will be suspended. Yeke was suspended. So for Yeke to not be a former representative should not be seen as Thomas Fowler issuing an empty threat that he could not deliver on. This is not to just hail him. This is to analyze it and give you the facts and to give you the truth, because this is what we do here. We give you the truth. We give you the facts. And if anybody is wrong, we tell you that person is wrong based on our observation and the facts we have there before us. So let us conclude here and bring you in. Why is Yeke always in trouble here? And why has been Yeke's own defense here for that which he has been doing consistently? Yeke has been consistently threatened by CDC lawmakers, including Representative Gray and Thomas Fowler, who authored the communication that led to Yeke's recent suspension. That is what I just analyzed for you. Yeke said in his outburst against the president is in retaliation to verbal and physical attacks against him by the president's surrogates, including parties, stalwarts, and some government officials. That is why Yeke's defense is. He said, they're always attacking me. They're always attacking me. Verbally, they insult me, and it's true. They call Yeke a killer. They accuse him of fighting a war, but yet they will not bring the war crime code. Yeke told us, bring the war crime code. I will go there to answer questions. These CDC lawmakers who have the authority in their hand now in our country to give us the war crime code so that we can hold the perpetrators accountable, they are in bed with Prince Johnson and other warlords. They will not bring the war crime code, and yet they will raise accusing fingers against Yekeh Kolubah of being a war criminal, a killer. Bring the war crime code. Let's take this killer there, and so that he can be held accountable, they will not do it. Why call him a war criminal and a killer? Yekeh has never denied his involvement in a war. And he's saying, I want to be held accountable. I want everybody to be held accountable. So CDC gave us the war crime code. They can't give us the war crime code. They can't give Yekeh the war crime code, but yet they continue to call him names. Wait a minute. Is that a justification why he will go and insult a certain president? If his friends are attacking him, does he not have the fortitude to be able to respond equally in similar manner? And he is to leave those who are accusing him, and President Weah is not insulting him, but he goes beyond them and goes to President Weah. According to him, that is the way he can get under their skin. That is the way, that's the one that bites. That is the one that projects him as a stronger fighter. I'm not making excuses. I'm telling you what the whole story is. So, folks, that is what we have for you on the analysis. We will take a short break. When we come back, we want you to participate. Let me bring you the phone number quickly. Let me bring you the phone number very quickly. The phone number, by the way, is in the strolling text 605-313-6004, 791-403 #. That is the number to call to participate on the edition or in this edition of the Hour of Politics with me, Ansony Sieh, your host. And yeah, I focus on Liberia. We educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. That is the number to call. Get your calls coming in right now so that I can take them. Let us get your take. You have 15 minutes to do so. Please call now and let us hear from you as well. I will take a short break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll take your calls. And those of you who are commenting, we will also read some of your comments. It is your time to speak now. And I heard someone say, "Oh, forever hold your peace."
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
Dennis Jah, thank you. Folks, let us read comments while we wait for you to wait for your calls. Let's read some comments here quickly. Lots of them. I hope I can get to as many as I can. Minecraft Mapu dancing, nice music. Mr. Sieh, love it. You love the CDC son? That son was that son, and it was. Good evening, Mr. Sieh. I'm following from my revolutionary room in Barnesville Estate. Wow, your room is revolutionary. Let's hear from Marcus, John the Baptist. John the Baptist is for nothing beat more Safoko is making. Let Safoko pay attention to the burning issues and stop seeking attention, man. Let's hear from Blessed. Blessed writes, good evening, Mr. Sieh. I'm following from district number 9. That is Safoko's district. Let's hear from Mankra A. Mampu Dawson. I believe he was dressed okay. I saw nothing wrong except those lawmakers don't have any great ideas about dressing. Their dress code rules should be modified. Let's hear from Mampu again. They like picking on Yeke and he just falls inside and it's on. As much as he disrupts, they cause the disruption most times. Let's hear from Humphrey Jabate. At this point, one can figure out that Yekeh was raising a salient point that other House's members didn't want to hear. House audits as such, since they are in the majority, they found a way to stop him pushing that his item audit corrupt people will resist audit against themselves in any way. Yeah, and as we know, the law, the House of the whole legislature has not been audited for years. That is a shame. Humphrey Jabate, you can raise those issues anytime without violating the standard. That is Jerome Gilman, the host of On Point here. I focus on Liberia, and we always want to remind you, he is an unabashed citizen. Let's hear from Masale writes, Liberia is a sad story and some kind of country, he writes, that's done. The nation is done. I am so ashamed of being a Liberian citizen at this point in time of ending adult life. Oh, I can sense that frustration in his voice. Oh, Jabate, let's make progress here. Jerome and Jabate are going back and forth here. Let's hear from Daniel Freeman. Bossa or Sieh, do you think it's fair to the president in the House? He need to be beaten Y'all Liberian people, you're looking for trouble, you're not telling the truth, hypocritical. That person is making their point there. Let's hear from Jerry Blamo Formula. I am so happy you are asking this question. Maybe they are working for George Weah, who is the president of Liberia. I think they are thinking that George Weah is only president for CDC. Let's hear from somebody I know very well, Francis Wilson. I see why one person in his admin had a grown man stripped and flogged because he suspected him of stealing his phone. Another couple, man and wife, flogged by another person in this region for parking their car outside of his fence. Abuse of power much? She's asked a question. Indeed, that is complete abuse of power. If you think somebody is trespassing on your property, call the person. Call the law. Let the law take a cause, and not to take matter into your own hands. Let's hear from Mansale again. CDC lawmakers are serving Georgia and not serving Liberia. They have demonstrated this over and over again. Let me see if there's a caller. We got one. That person seems to be Mr. Jerome. Let's see. Let's see. Caller, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm there.
And what is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Jerome, calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right, Jerome, let's hear you quickly.
How you doing, this guy?
This is Ansony. I'm doing well.
Ansony, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
How did Justice properly end up to copy the president? They should have known that properly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why did they not express that? They went strictly to make and force the president. And how did going to pick up Yeke Kolubah with his vehicles to the airport, ever so to telling him, I will ask your car because you can force the president. So you see, all these things here, this man have been holy, all my over. Everything that they do, and then the next day, they may not get it. They may not, how we see the somebody up. And then they can was probably to the children to honor the country. They see the children honor and artful. They departed deeply and from trouble. This man has one very people and that is happy about it. For now, Lord, because that we look at up to make the law as set this to reflect this person, the person. Is that how we're supposed to live in a country? I don't know why you're going to do it because if theory is our method, I'm going to get angry because safety was there, just the same way, and raise the point that I myself to the same way. But they did not say no man. Everybody was on Yeke. Provoking him. All the things that would cause this man to be rude and do something that he's not supposed to do. Even though he's wrong for abusing the house, for years, this man has been provoked over and over and over every day and happen or mistreated. Nobody will stand for him. He talk and say you rule. He talk and say you rule. So who will come to Yeke to see if it was somebody come to Yeke and start to I know that so things happen. Then the guy calm down. But nobody is coming. The next person for himself. He's ready for somebody. He's trying to make a point that I'm here to fight for the Liberian folk. You guys are doing this. You guys are doing this. They are guilty for that. So how did president properly come to copy the president in our country?
Very good question there. Thank you so very much.
I don't know the question.
Thank you. Very good question there. Let's bring in Emmanuel Zaza. Emmanuel, I hear you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sieh.
Mm-hmm.
I think the problem we got, and most of us don't understand, is that we Liberians don't know what is the issue. If we decide to take individuals as important as the issue affecting us, we'll continue to have these issues. People will defend Yeke Kolubah regardless of how close you behave. People will defend Akaros regardless of how close you behave. People don't look at the issue. Why should you continue to defend individuals? Akaros may be wrong. Kolubah may be wrong. But people who believe in them will see they are not wrong. They say it's going to affect Liberia. Kolubah is supposed to be an honorable man. Then the person before himself, the people out of building for not dressing properly. Then the first person. They are happy, even if they are account, they have been put out of that place because he did dress well. It happened in the past. The history is there. But the point here is that if we will say because I'm a physician or because I support Ansary Gray, so everything he does is right, or because I support everything he does is right, they will continue to have this thing happening in our house that's going to be a honorable house, that's going to be a most sacred house in our government.
Thank you.
That's how these things are happening.
Thank you.
So until we come to the sense to understand that this folks, the Christians are there to wipe on issues and not on themselves, and that's what next year we'll continue to have this thing happening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. Let me come back to some comments here. But no, before I go to comments, let me bring this very important aspect. So let us know that while Representative Kolubah and Sieh were in the same attire, a teacher won't honor a court. Only Representative Kolubah was thrown out of section by Speaker Buffer Chambers. Representative Rowland, in his observation, flagged out that Representative Kolubah was not dressed properly. Representative Rachel Namwe-Kun and Dixon Sibo fled to Yeke Kolubah's defense. So you have Rachel Kun and Dixon Sibo. They rushed to Yeke's defense. They said, no, the man is dressed properly based on the rules, according to Sibo and Rachel Namwe-Kun. Then Sibo went on to say, look, like me, Yeke is dressed in French attire. That is in conformity with the standards set by the house rules. Despite all of this, they said Yeke needed to go out. And they asked him out. Let's read some comments. Let's hear from, I don't know, it's Mystery or Miss Dunbar or Williette. The naked book said, but at least Anthony, she said, I'm not Anthony. I am not Anthony. Please, I am not Anthony. My name is Ansony. Please, please, please. Ansony. Sony, Anthony. At least Anthony Sieh trying to put right where right belongs today, even with his small chopping. Yeah, thank you for pointing out my small chopping. I'll work on the small chopping, William. So the way you know English good, please help me. Anytime I chop, please bring it to my attention. Message me. Tell me the mistake and send me the correct version so that I can make the correction the next time. That's how you do it. Don't just tell me I'm chopping without telling me what I chop. Tell me this is a chop you made and this is the correct version. I will appreciate that and I will not take offense to that. Please do that. Let's hear from Tevin & Co. Ghetto Horse, aka Liberian Senate. Tevin & Co. is on a whole level here trying to make it juicy. Let's hear from Joseph Paul to the Crooks Media. Rule Yeke Kolubah will never be wrong in their eyes because they survive on sensation. You know, this person is making a salient point. Yeke behavior has been unacceptable. Yeke behavior has been repugnant. Yeke is not a good representative with the level of insults and the way he behaves like a child. This behavior is unacceptable at all. Yeke needs to behave himself properly. For Christ's sake, he represents an entire district in Liberia. Group of people he's representing, let him be a better representative. I mean, if all he has is to just insult and be yelling all over the place, then I don't think it's worth it. There are a lot of issues he should be able to. I know he tried to address issue, but stick to the issue, man. What's all this insult about? That is unacceptable. And Yeke is somebody that we need to call out. Let us yet another comment, and they are still trying to cash their bogus check, may be payable to the bank of CDC. I would think Margaret would say that because Margaret too is a huge and big critic of anything CDC, and that is why she's throwing those punches. Let's hear from Marina Jones. Yeke is outside child and rebel. That's why he is always in trouble. Discipline, etc. That person writes. Yeah, from Alfred Dennis. These people are not real lawmakers. Many of them are not qualified to be in the House of the Senate. The president of Liberia also need to be impeached and resign. Hey, that person is on a whole new level, changing the whole conversation. Let's hear from Joseph Paul. Yeah. Oh, Lord, guys, Joshua administration will forever be remembered as a government who allow freedom of speech to the extreme. If this was in, for example, Rwanda, Uganda, Senegal, Togo, Yeke, Kolubah, who have been a different story. So we should thank God for the WIA's administration. And that person said the WIA administration is tolerant when it comes to freedom of speech. At least Yeke is saying all these things, stay around, he stay as a job. A different place. Covenant D. Akaros Gray and Buffer Chimpo insulted Ellen for breakfast, lunch, and dinner when she was in power. Excellent point there. That is true. This Akaros Gray, this Buffer Chimbo, the CDC lawmakers, they call Ellen political prostitute. They call her all manners of name. And none of CDC representative is, what's his name? One Solomon. I think Solomon Joe. I hope I'm not making a mistake, but he has been representing the West Point area. That representative, that guy used to insult. They are the one too are pointing any moral finger at Yeke Kolubah for insults when these CDC lawmakers were insulting Ellen every other time. Let's hear from Fala Taylor. Thank you, Mr. Sieh, for this great discussion. Hey, Comrade Fala, how you doing, brother? Long time. Oh, hear from you. Let me hear from you soon. Let's hear from Lawrence Cisco. Yeah, when he is the president, when he, the president, doesn't respect his office and the people he served, Georgia will always be disrespected until he leaves power. What? That is your reason? He doesn't respect his office, so people should insult him? Oh, well, I don't know what kind of logic is that. Covenant D, I agree with you, but we don't need to speak about change. We will stay long in cycles. That person writes. Lots of comments here. Let me get this one from Vafi. Great statement was done as a result of weak consumption. He can beat Yeke, withdraw rain, he can beat Yeke, so sharp up. The person said, let's draw rain and put the both of them, what to beat Yeke, so sharp one. And he also, that person just accused Akaros Gray of smoking weed. According to Akaros Gray, Dennis Manson asking a question. Akaros Gray said he does not smoke. He does not smoke before even talking about weed. He said his eyes, they are just natural. That's how his eyes are. And people just look at him, and he said that it's because he's smoking something. We asked Akaros Gray, he said, no, man, I don't smoke. People just accuse me of nothing for nothing. So those of you who know Akaros Gray, come and confirm it. Mr. Gray, Gray said, no, I don't do that. Yeke behavior is unacceptable and should be flogged, like Honorable Gray said. I'm following you live from India, Punjab State, Katani, Kanla. Wow. Why you can't go to help beat the man? Are we a country of men now, not law anymore? If someone is wrong and we just beat the person up? Wow, what a twisted logic there. Well, that's how the person sees it. Some people see it the other way. George Toby, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is the tale of Newton, I believe. Okay, something like that. I forgot my grade school literature. Not literature, but, science or something, or physics. Well, folks, we have to leave it here. Let me conclude and let me wrap up so that I can ask you and all of us to go do something else. So we brought you this story about Representative Akaros Great and Representative Frank Safoko, who had threatened to beat Yeke Kolubah with their bare hands. He said they were beating and they are not joking, and that it should be taken to the bank and that they are serious. If Yeke dare open his mouth anytime or again to insult President Weah, they will beat him. Lawmakers making those statements in the halls of parliament when they have their own rules. That is what they said. What is the justification for that kind of language? For such a behavior, for such outburst? Frank Safoko Jr. was invited. He has agreed. We made a flyer. We advertised the broadcast. I don't know what happened. He did not communicate with me despite the follow-ups that I made, an hour, 30 minutes, and also 10 minutes to the broadcast time. I did not hear from him. It would have been better if he were here to answer all these questions. What was the rule that was violated? Was Yeke in the wrong? Was Dixon Sibo also in the wrong? Is that what you do when somebody violates the law? When somebody insults, you take matter into your own hands? If you are lawmakers, what example are you setting when you, the lawmakers, who are asking or making laws for people to abide by and respect and asking people to use the law, you are the one telling people that you would beat a lawmaker, another lawmaker, for what you consider as a violation of just your rules. And we also talk about the fact that, one of the representatives said, hey, whenever there is an alleged violation, there's a committee set up. That committee conducts an investigation. That committee makes a recommendation. The recommendation is taken to plenary and is voted on. That is how we made decision. In this case, that was not done that way. The chairman on rules were called. He looked at Yeke and he said Yeke was in violation. The next thing we saw, the speaker was calling the sergeant and Yeke was escorted. We read the rules. The rules talk about something they call French coat or French attire. French attire, for example, when one wears a t-shirt with a coat on it. Yeke was not the only one wearing t-shirt with a coat on it. Representative Dixon Sibo, who is a sedition, was also dressed in similar manner. He and Representative Namwe Kun, Richard Namwe Kun, when they saw that Yeke Kolubah and Dixon Sibo were dressed in similar manner and Yeke was being singled out, the two of them rushed to Yeke's defense and said, no, the man is dressed in a French attire. That is in conformity with our rules. No, the man is not in violation. Please do not do this. And yet, why it's true that Yeke was not the only one dressed, and if the two lawmakers I just called are right, Yeke was in conformity with the rules. So he should not have been, asked to leave plenary. And if he were in the wrong, then Dixon Sibo was also in the wrong. Why was Dixon Sibo also not taken out? So one of the lawmakers said Yeke was being treated unfairly. The decision was unilateral. It was against the procedure of the House in how they go about making decisions. The speaker does not make decision for the body. Is what they call plenary, which is the highest making decision organ of that body that decides what should be done to anybody or what on everything or anything. So that is it. And based on my analysis, I think Yeke was treated unfairly, and that is just my opinion based on what I read, based on all the facts that I see before me. Yeke was treated unfairly. Yeke was the only one who was punished for what they classify as a violation of their rule, Rule 22.11, even though there were two individuals who were dressed in similar manner. That alone was unfair. And one of the lawmakers said the man was not in violation. And so for them to have treated Yeke this way, if at all it is true that he was not in any violation, then Yeke's rights was violated. They run Yeke Kolubah, and this August ballot need to get its ass together. This is unfortunate that lawmakers were threatening to beat another lawmaker. These lawmakers should be examples. They should be examples to the people they represent. They should be able to conduct themselves in a much more acceptable manner, in keeping with their own rules and also in keeping with the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. The whole dress code thing here, maybe let me conclude on it. How you made your rules, and you're talking about African attire. If you go to Europe, when the Europeans are writing their rules about a dress code, do you hear them say European attire? They don't say that. They just tell you have to dress modestly. They just provide a specification. How you in Liberia and you're telling people you should be in African attire? You should be in French suit. I mean, what kind of thing is that? And every time now we will use our own, we are Africans. And you're telling you must be in African attire, you must be in European attire, you must be in French days. What is this? Come with a rule that say you must dress modestly. Modestly will mean that you wear a trouser. If you say don't wear jeans trouser, say no jeans trouser is allowed, but just about any trousers is allowed. Coat suit are allowed. And, you know, what is this African attire, French and all that? Again, who am I? What do I know? You know, I don't know anything. But, you know, I just decided I wanted to just poke your membrane. I mean, your mind a little bit, not memory. Your mind a little bit. How are these people writing these rules? Is there someone writing a book and it said palm butter? This person is a Liberian, an African. Then the person goes to define palm butter. If the white man writes a book and say pizza, the white man does not write pizza and telling you pizza is this kind of food that is made of this and all that. A Liberian will write a book and tell you palm butter. Then they go describe the book you're writing is meaningful, even if you're not writing it for Liberians only. Let the person go and find out what is palm butter. Let them do a little research. Huh? Have you read a book written by, say, an American where they mention pizza and they go tell you what is pizza or Big Mac, and they start defining what is Big Mac? No, they don't do that. If you don't know it, go and figure it out. Well, food for thought, focus on Liberia. Ansony Sieh, the hour of politics. I will take leave of you. I hope we had a great time. Thank you for always watching us here. I want to remind you to always like our Facebook page, share our shows. Even if you're watching it on YouTube, please share it as well. Yeah, I focus on Liberia. We remain core to our goals that are so simplistic: to educate, to elevate, and to promote all things Liberia. The song that says we are all Liberians closest us right now. Thank you, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.
We are